Talking about pushing the rules, remind me to ask you a question later because this blew my mind at the airport the other day.
Well, go ahead. I can't wait now. Go ahead and ask me.
Where was I at? I'm in Nashville. I'm leaving Nashville, and I go into the bathroom, and, I got IBS. My stomach's not all the way right. And there's a line for the stalls, but I see the handicap stall open. I see the door open on it. So it's like 3 dudes in front of me. And I even walk past them like, hey, that one's open. They're like, no. So I go in the handicap stall, I handle my business, and I come out, and they're all looking at me like I'm crazy. If there's nobody handicapped in the bathroom, you're allowed to use the handicap stall, right?
Yes. I don't understand. Does it mean that handicapped people can't wait? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the toilet that is designated for them, but is it only for them? I understand what you're asking. Yeah. I've always believed it's for everyone, but they would, like, if a guy came in on a wheelchair, I think he would go to the front of that line. That I'm down with.
Yeah.
But I could remain in that line if I want. I like it because it's roomier.
It's nice. It's roomier. You feel you're almost at home. It's not all tight. But when I walked past 4 guys, and I just didn't walk past them like a butt wipe. I was like, hey, do y'all want to use that? And they all were like, they looked at the ground like I was about to break the law. And I skipped the line, went in there. And when I left back out, there were still guys waiting in line, and everybody refused to go in there. And I was like, man, y'all are missing out. It's beautiful in there. There's its own sink.
It's roomy. You feel like you can kind of make it feel like home for a little bit. You don't feel like.
Always has paper towels. Nice sink in there.
Right. And you've got, I'm sure, some carry-on luggage. There's plenty of room. It's not, I
take my shirt off.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it blew I was like, am I doing something wrong? That made me feel like I was a villain. I'm like, y'all are silly.
No, I'm down with that.
Okay.
Let's get headlines with Solana, brought to you by Doral Kia. At Doral Kia, choose from over 500 new Kia models in inventory like the Sportage, Sorento, and Telluride. And remember, when it comes to Kia, the great deals are at Doral Kia.
Sorry, this isn't headlines, but this is bizarre. I guess I never noticed it. I prefer the smaller stall. I'll go into the handicap, by the way. I have no issue with what you guys said. I agree. If there's a person that's handicapped waiting, obviously they go ahead of me. But I prefer being confined by 2 walls on my side only when I'm using a public restroom. I don't know why.
Now that you say that. Oh, breaking news. Trevor Lawrence placed on injured reserve. Just like Tua with the concussion. So
yeah. And you know what? Season over. They're not going anywhere.
Why would you risk it?
Yeah, just gave him $250 million.
Now that you say that, Solana, you make a compelling case. I got to get in here. I got to do my business. I don't want to feel too comfortable in here. I want to feel like the walls are closing in on me so that I get in, get out.
I bet y'all make love and swim with your shirts on.
I do, yes. Confirmed.
I actually take my shirt off to swim.
I like to be free. I like to be open. I don't know what can happen in that handicap stuff.
Listen, a woman has never really been made love to until she's been made love to in a man wearing an LL Bean sweater.
Quarter zip. Hey.
We talked about this before, Crowder. I always take my shirt off too when I'm using the restroom. Always.
Really?
Right. You want to feel clean. There are people who do that, by the way.
Yeah.
At home for sure. But
at home.
Yeah. At home. At home.
Sure.
Not in a public restroom.
I don't go to the bathroom in a public restroom to go number 2.
Really?
That's crazy. That's crazy to me, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. See, you're spoiled.
Yeah. Rob Pizzola just joined on the video feed. You ever go number 2 in a public restroom?
Yes, I'm a human being. What do you do? Like if you have to go, you got to go.
Yeah, not now, buddy.
You just suffer for a few hours.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you'd go number 2 at a Tim Hortons.
Yeah, you just do like the little toilet paper outline on the toilet seat.
Yep.
And that's it.
I you know what it is? I just can't go that quickly. First of all, I need my squatty potty. You have a squatty potty?
I do not.
Yeah.
You need your knees elevated.
Yeah.
It you know what it is? Yeah.
I've seen it. Yes, I've seen
Because that's if you look at the advertisements, that's how the cavemen did it. They squatted, and we're in the we're sitting casually, comfortably. We need to be in a more squatting position because you want full evacuation.
Well, I would imagine that we've learned a lot since the cavemen. And maybe nowadays is the
I
proper
would imagine
way,
not
relative
so much
to the way the cavemen did it back in the day.
Listen, I've never experienced complete evacuation like I do with the squatty potty.
Huck, why don't you just grab both your knees like a freestyle diver?
Oh, trust me, I've done that before.
That's the Jeff Daniels.
Everyone
Dumb and
knows.
Dumber special.
Everyone listening knows. Sometimes you gotta finesse it.
You got all the tricks, huh? I'm wrong with him, Rob.
I used to think he just did this for show, honestly.
No.
Like years ago.
No.
I think he just, he's a hot take guy. He wants to be kind of like the Skip Bayless type of guy. Now I've learned he's not. He's just actually this messed up. Yeah, he really is.
This is me. Quick headlines so I can talk a little gambling with Pizzola, Solana.
The Heat do play tonight. They host the Los Angeles Lakers, who are struggling, just like the Miami Heat are. 7:30 p.m. tip-off from the Kaseya Center. Austin Reeves out tonight with a pelvic contusion, so he's not going for the Lakers. And one quick check here to see if there's any update on Jimmy Butler's status. He is listed as questionable for tonight's game. No update. So there you go. Jimmy, questionable. The Panthers did lose yesterday in overtime to the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Crosman. They will play tomorrow at the Philadelphia Flyers. Your weather.
You ever heard Sidney Crosby referred to as the Crosman anywhere else other than this show, Rob?
Never in my life.
Okay.
Never in my life. The Crosman. Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe hockey's just not that big in Canada. Yeah.
Right. It's one of the most iconic nicknames in sports, the Crosman.
The Crosman.
Your weather from the Demesman and Dover Law Firm. Call them 866-954-MORE, youraccidentattorneys.com.
Every time he comes on with us, he says to himself, I'm not doing that show again. And then he just falls into the same trap every week.
I actually don't mind it, honestly. I don't. I get a lot of I actually get excited when I'm calling into the show because I never know what's coming out.
It's unlike any other show you do. I'm assuming any other show you do, you jump on and they're right into the lines.
Yeah, most of them. I do one other show that's more like a entertaining type of picks format where we mostly don't even talk about the picks. But this is definitely unique. Definitely,
That's one.
Like I got within 10 seconds today. I got asked if I use public bathrooms. When does that happen to a guest when they're calling in on air?
True. But do you get in and out quickly, even at home in the bathroom, or is it like? Because you know what I mean. Like for me, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I would say you get in and out quickly when you know you have to. But if you don't have to,
that's when I feel more pressure, and then I get locked up.
That's tough. Listen, I do the phone games. I read some art. It depends where you're at too, right? Like sure. If I'm going to the bathroom at the airport, for example, there's not really much.
I mean, what are you doing?
Well, I wait for I see the cleaning guy go in and clean, then you go hit it right away. That's the key move with the public restrooms. Right?
That is a key move.
You kind of wait it out a little bit. Anyways, but I might spend half an hour in there at the airport because it doesn't matter whether I'm on the toilet or whether I'm sitting waiting for the flight. It's the same thing.
But that's tremendous pressure because people know you're in there.
Nah,
who knows you? Who cares what they know? Go to the bathroom.
At some point, you have to walk out. I mean,
and then nod at them.
Yeah,
that's me. That's me.
Exactly. What are you ashamed of? It's a bodily function that everyone does.
I mean, a half hour. I mean, we've all got flights to catch.
Well, sure. I'm not picking like the bathroom at the airport that has 2 stalls and waiting in there. Like that's disrespectful to everyone else.
But even like if you go to the airport lounge, because I love the airport lounge, the Centurion Lounge. Is that the one that we go to, Solana? The
Centurion Lounge.
They have the full door. Because it's, very classy. So it's the full door from top to bottom. But the lounge isn't that large. So everyone knows that you've gone in there. You don't come out for a half hour. People are talking.
Nobody's talking.
People are talking. No, they're talking.
Nobody's talking. But that's a horrible idea. Like the ventilation in there must be terrible.
Yeah, but nobody sees your legs dangling.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Nobody
just
can
bathing.
lean over and see what's going on.
You're just absorbing your own smell. Like, it's terrible. Why would you want to do that to yourself?
Oh, I love it.
People are talking.
Give me the full door. Give me the full door any day of the week.
Ridiculous.
Anything else, Solana?
Right now in South Florida, freezing outside. It's a nice 69 degrees tonight.
Nice.
It'll be even more freezing. It'll get into the mid-50s. That is your weather.
That is cold for us. Rob Pizzola is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. He is a professional sports gambler in the great nation of Canada, and he comes to us courtesy of Forward Progress, which is part of the Hammer Betting Network. Forward Progress produces daily NFL betting content to keep you informed and help you get a step up on the books. You can check out Forward Progress on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Pizzola. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Mark.
How about this last night? So I'm out with my friends. It's McRib night. McRibs got released, and so I met some friends for McRibs at McDonald's. I get home, third period of the Panthers game is starting. They're down 3-1. This is a nothing bet, $15. I didn't even tell you, Crowder, just $15. But they were down 3-1, so I live bet the Panthers because I was going to watch the third period, and I was like, okay, I haven't watched a second of this game, so I don't know what's going on. I haven't watched a second of it. I'm going to put $15 on the Panthers at plus 500. They come back. They tie it 3-3. Then they tie it 4-4. Goes to overtime. I sell the bet for $45. They lose in overtime.
Yeah, you must feel like a real hero after doing
I did.
like that.
I did.
Yeah. Well, listen. You ended up with $45 that you wouldn't have had.
That's what I'm saying. It paid for the McRibs.
I know, but you probably shouldn't have sold it. Like it's process over result, right?
I knew he was going to throw water on this.
Yeah, it's not a great move. I get why people do it. It's peace of mind. I got something. I don't. Some people.
I just felt like, hey, it's Spencer Knight. If it was Sergei Bobrovsky, I would have let it ride. I felt like, hey, it's Spencer Knight. Pittsburgh. They got the Crosman. Did he play last night, Solana?
Crosman is in the lineup.
Yeah, I just didn't want to have Spencer Knight go, these overtimes, there's going to be a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my money and run.
Well, however you got to justify it to yourself, that's fine, Mark. The example I like to give to people all the time in regards to cash out lists, like I bet professionally, it's different than a recreational bettor who's going to use the cash out. In my opinion, like if you lose a bet and you had an option to cash out, and it's going to keep you awake at night, just take the cash out. Like, don't make the plus EV math play. But there was a very popular show, Howie Mandel show, Deal or No Deal, for many years, right? And that's just like a good mathematical type of show, in the sense where you can learn some betting concepts through that. So as an example, in that show, you had to pick a briefcase, and you had that briefcase, and you'd constantly get offers from the banker for what that briefcase is worth. But let's say you got down to 2 briefcases left, and the 2 that are in play are 0 and 1 million. The banker's never giving you an offer for $500,000, right? Which is what it should be, the expected value. They're giving you a lowball offer, 300,000, and now you're going to have to make a decision. It's the exact same thing with the cash out button at a sports book. They're calculating what it actually should pay, and then they're just taking a bunch off of that, and they're offering you that. They want you to click that button in the long run. So just be aware of that. If the sports books were losing money by offering cash out, they wouldn't offer the cash out. So I'm glad it worked out for you, but you got to go process over results when you're sports betting, Mark. And I know you won't listen to that. I know this is all going way over your head.
I'm listening, Rob.
Yeah, I could tell. That's why I actually come and like to do the show, because I could see Crowder every time I could see him processing.
He uses the cash out button more than I do.
You know what?
I'm not a cash out guy, Rob. Don't let him lie to you.
Yeah, of course not. I could tell. I know.
Crowder's so you're saying process over what?
Over results. I mean, yours are both bad.
And I'm saying results over process.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, your process is bad. Your results are bad. None of this.
My
even
result was
matters
good though.
for that one particular bet. We're not too far removed from you losing like 16 bets in a row or whatever it was.
I lost 7 on Thanksgiving Day alone. I went 0 for 7 on Thanksgiving Day.
It's tough to do.
It is.
How have you not figured out to bet the opposite of every instinct that you have?
Because sometimes I talk myself into thinking I'm betting the opposite of what. Then I start playing mind games. I'm like, okay, Washington's going to win. And then I'm like, okay, so I'll bet the other side. But then I think to myself, well, wait a second. Maybe Washington was the other side that I was thinking of. And then I just get confused. Then I'll place bets on both sides, lose big, feel good. How do you like that process?
That's the classic 1990s tout move, or it's like bet both sides of the game and then show
Right.
the big winning ticket no matter what. And it's just
Right.
the vig is just a marketing cost. At
Right.
that point.
Yeah. No, it's a marketing cost.
That's it.
All right. Let me ask Rob a couple. First of all, did you follow the college football playoff committee choices at all? Should a 3-loss Alabama team be ranked ahead of a 2-loss Miami team?
I didn't follow it. The reality is money is at play in a lot of these instances as well. And I'm for this type of playoff, like the 12 teams. I think it made the last few weeks of the season a little bit more exciting. But in terms of deserving to win, and now you're getting into real challenges when you start going that deep and picking 12 teams to say like this team deserves it over that. I don't have a strong opinion on this, Mark. I am aware that I'm in, on Miami radio. I watched a lot of the Hurricanes this year. I don't think they're very good. I hate to say that, but 2 losses versus 3, like there's a 3-loss team here that has a chance to win a national title. Something seems wrong with that.
That's what I think too, because that again, you're given a whole bunch of context. Well, I don't think they're very good, but the record states otherwise.
Yes, but also the quality of opponents matters too, right? And do you dock a team for having 3 losses when they play a tougher schedule? I don't have the answers to that. I think this was inevitably going to happen. I mean, it's the same thing that happens when they start opening up the March Madness field bigger and bigger. You just have even more teams now that have a case for getting in, and there's no right or wrong. It's a tough one. I think Alabama would be favored over Miami if they were playing on a neutral field. So from a sports betting perspective, it's hard for me to argue that they shouldn't get the spot. But yeah, 3-loss team with a chance to win a national title, it seems a little bit lame to me.
And if I have a edge, if I think Ohio State, or if I think one of these guys, Rob, like if I feel good about a team, Oregon's number 1 seed, should I bet them at 12, 8, 4? I know the odds will go down the later you bet them, but if you feel good about a team, should you bet them now?
I would say that one thing that people make a mistake of is they actually bet the future. So they'll go out and be like, I'm betting this team to win the national championship. What you should actually do is roll it over in a parlay. So whatever team it is, Crowder, that you wanted to bet, let's just say it was Ohio State as an example. Bet Ohio State on the money line in their first game, and then take those winnings, bet that on Ohio State on the money line in the next game. And then if they make the national championship, then take those winnings, bet them on Ohio State money line in the national championship. It's way more likely you're going to get a better payout doing that, because the VIG on each individual game is much lower than it is on betting the futures market. In terms of the timing of the bet, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, these lines are not going to move a ton. I would be very surprised. There's such a big spotlight on these games. It's not like 60 college football games going on a Saturday where you end up seeing a lot of different line moves. I don't think the timing is going to make a big difference, Crowder.
Do you do that, Rob, where you pick a team and you go, yep, I'm going to bet money line here, I'll bet money line next round, and then I'll bet money line? Or do you have that nice little money line win and then abandon the theory and just take the dub?
No, so for me, I go in with, again, it's process. So this is what I do this a lot during March Madness. I think it's the best time to do it, because if you're going to take a team that's like a 4 or 5 seed to run deep, you often are not getting great prices on that team to win the national championship. So I just bet them on a per game basis and I roll it over. But it is a valid point, Mark, because you might get to a point where you're like, okay, now I actually have to make a $500 bet. Am I comfortable doing that, or would I rather just pocket the 500? There's not even really a right or wrong answer. It's completely up to you at that point. But for me, in the long run, those tend to pay more than actually just betting into the futures market itself.
All right, let me ask you about the Dolphins game coming up on Sunday. Dolphins and Jets. Dolphins, last I saw, were a 6-point favorite.
Yeah, so I'm watching the Dolphins on Thanksgiving night, and I'm just watching players on the defense dropping like flies. Cam Smith, Kendall Fuller was already out. Kader Kohu, who else was missing in that game? Benito Jones got hurt. Everyone's getting hurt, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I got to bet against Miami this week. This upcoming week. I go and I look at the schedule. Of course, I see the Jets, and I'm like, here we go. Like, am I going to do this with the Jets? And the answer is I'm not. I'm actually just going to play Miami team total over in this game. Sauce Gardner is probably going to miss for the Jets. Eccles, who would be the backup corner there, injured as well, might not play for them. Miami does not generate the explosive plays like they used to, but they're still a pretty good team in terms of moving the ball on defenses that can't tackle. And that's the big thing for the Jets this year. 91 missed tackles, so fourth most in the entire league. That team is just dead in the water right now. They got gifted everything possible going their way in the early game against Seattle last week. Couple kickoff returns fumbled by Laviska Shenault in that game, and they still couldn't pull out the win. They just find ways to consistently lose. I like Miami team total over 25.5 in this game. I think they're going to be able to move it on the Jets.
Is the reason that you won't bet Miami -6 because Miami is a better team than the Jets? I don't think there's any question about it, but I've had this conversation with Crowder and Solana. The Jets and Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to win only 2 games for the season. Do you ever do that where you go, everything says Miami should cover, but it's implausible that the Jets are going to go, 2-15.
But it's very plausible now. Their coaching staff is terrible. They thought firing Saleh was going to be the big difference for them. It's not. Their quarterback stinks. I mean, this is not Aaron Rodgers from, prime Aaron. He's on his last legs. He might not even be in the NFL next year. They struggle. And who knows what the effort level's like at this point within that locker room now with consistently losing games. You see guys pulling themselves out of snaps, like people just walking off the field. It's a tough situation. So I just struggle with the Dolphins injury report. I would love to bet the Dolphins this week, but they just got too many guys that are sidelined. Looks like Kendall Fuller might be back. And it's just a tough game. I think the number's fine. Honestly, I think it's fine, but I would not think of the Jets like we thought of them going into the year. We have so many data points now in between there that tell us they're just a horrible football team. Now, that's not to say they can't win this week. It can happen, but I just don't trust them all around.
Do you ever play, though, hey, this should happen? Like Crowder tonight is betting LeBron overs. Lakers are playing the Heat tonight. There's been all this talk about LeBron. He stinks all of a sudden. He can't hit a three-pointer. And so Crowder's
0-17 from behind the line, 16 points per game over the last 3. It's all over ESPN. We know LeBron. It's almost like anticipating LeBron's psyche, Rob, saying LeBron has to go crazy. It's his ex-team. He played for the Heat. Like, am I barking up the wrong tree with this?
I don't want to say no, but it depends.
Come with me, you always want to say no, but when it's Crowder, you don't want to say no. You get
Crowder's
into it
a genuinely
softly.
Nice guy. I respect him a lot more. This guy played professional sports. He's got
Everything
a resume.
with Crowder, he gets into softly. It's the same answer, which is no, you're an idiot. But for me, he loves to say no, you're an idiot. With Crowder, it's like, well, you're a heck of a guy. And
I like the thought process here, right? It just depends on whether or not the market is actually accounting for that, right? So what I would say to Crowder is if you want to fade this perception that like LeBron James is toast, and I would have gone back and looked at prices that he's been lined at in like his last 5 games or so and see if he's being priced below that, because now you are fading some sort of opinion. But if he's just being priced the same way every game, then I don't think that there's an edge there.
that makes so he looks at it differently than you and I do. He's always looking for the edge. We're never looking for an edge. We're just betting what we think is going to happen. I see what you're saying there. That actually makes sense. Has the market now gone down because they believe the production level is down, or there's still just enough bettors who are saying, 23.5 every night. We'll just keep putting it at that number.
Exactly. So like I can give you a real life example. I lost this bet, but 2 weeks ago, Jordan Addison had a huge game for the Vikings, had like 160 receiving yards. And this past week, he was priced at 49.5 receiving yards. He's usually priced in the mid to high 30s. So because of that one game, they adjusted it up big time. Now I played the under. Guy ends up catching like 4 balls in the fourth quarter for 54 yards, and I lose. But there was a very clear big time adjustment on Addison there. So I like to just compare it to past numbers recently and be like, okay, there's an overreaction here. I'll play the opposite side.
So you think your Addison bet, which turned out to be a loser, was a better bet than my Panthers bet last night that I sold that actually turned out to be a winner?
I value the bet at the time it was made. It sounds really ridiculous to say that because I'm stacking all these edges. And I know sometimes I can bet a game with a huge edge and it might end up losing. But I value it at the time it was made. Really
you
weird.
Believe in math.
I mean, it's got me this far. Mark, I was you. Like when in my 20s, I was you. And I don't mean that offensively. It's like your style of betting was what I did.
That is the highest form of compliment.
Yeah, well, I do not view it as a compliment to myself. I'm thinking back; it's a very dark period for me. But I was a losing bettor. I used to bet, and then I just got to a point of like, why am I doing this? I love sports, but losing on sports is not fun for me. So why am I going to continue to go down this path? And then I just like kind of refined a process that was more math.
You think I'll ever have that moment?
No, you're too far gone.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Now do you understand why he talks to me nicer?
Yeah, see, like I get, but Crowder, he can have that, but like Crowder's always, I come on, he's asking questions. He's trying
such a fraud. Solana, will you tell Rob, please? Crowder went on the Tamron Hall show, and I know Crowder for years now. You know this Tamron Hall? It's like the poor man's Oprah. Yeah. She's got a national TV show, and he went on with his wife, and it was about his wife finding her father and whatever. And Crowder cried on the show, and everyone fell in love with Crowder nationally. And Tamron Hall's had him on a million times since, and it's so fraudulent. This dude cannot cry.
Call him a phony.
Who am I?
Phony.
I'm Denzel Washington. I just cry. I could just pull it out. No.
Yeah.
That was genuine.
You had genuine emotion on the Tamron Hall show.
Of my wife's happiness.
Yeah. I think if he could cry on command like that, then he would get into Hollywood and make a lot more money than being on a show with you, Mark.
He does it. He does it plenty. He does it. Watch his podcast. I mean, Solana, you know that. You know I'm telling the truth.
This is one of my favorite Crowderisms.
And what you don't see is what you haven't seen.
It's the guy you think is listening to you, Rob. Play that one more time, Solana.
And what you don't see is what you haven't seen.
Love that.
That makes perfect sense.
Rob goes, I love that.
Love that.
My man, Rob.
Yeah, I listen, Hawk. You know, listen. At this point, it is what it is with me and you. You know, Solana. I like Solana, but every now and then he does. You know, he wears a tie clip. It doesn't attach it to his shirt, and I got to point it out. I got to do it. Crowder, he's just asking good questions about sports betting. He obviously has a desire to learn and happen.
Mm-hmm. He's got you fooled.
No,
he's got you fooled. He does. He's got you. He just doesn't fool me.
I want information from a guy that's good at this, Hawk. I talk to you 4 hours and 20 hours a week, and I get to talk to Rob for 20 minutes.
At the right time last night. This guy right here, who's on a little bit of a heater.
See, something like that's a setback for the wrong type of bettor, because you actually think you've made a good move now, Mark, when in reality it was bad. So now you're going to keep doing those behaviors going forwards. It's tough.
Yeah. I always throws cold water on everything that I'm doing. Do they have the McRib in Canada, or is that just an American thing?
I'm not sure. I'm a little bit off McDonald's right now because I went really hard during Monopoly, and then I realized that all the free things that I won have now expired. So I have like 10 free things in the car that I can't use.
Wait, they had the Monopoly game again recently?
Yeah, we have it different times a year in US and Canada. And I get really, I don't know why. There's this part of getting those stickers and, you know, thinking, you know, maybe I'm going to get the rare one. You never get the rare one, but thinking that you might. But I got all these like free drink, free apple pie, free sandwich, They're all in my car, and I went to go
You
use
didn't
one
cash
the
them
other
in.
day. No,
You just like the thrill of the victory.
Yeah, I do.
So what do they put the little tabs on the soda and the fries?
Yeah, and this is like really sad. I've calculated the most valuable things to get, like price wise, right?
Could you imagine living your life like it? Because I don't even believe in math. I'm not certain that it's, I'm not certain it's all that people think that it is.
All right.
But you do that even with the McDonald's.
Yeah,
stuff.
like medium coffee, like this is the way to go, right? There's like a $1 coffee and it comes with the McDonald's stickers. That's much more valuable than getting anything else, right? Why am I going to get a Big Mac for
the hash
$7?
brown tastes better though than the coffee.
Well, look, I actually don't mind McDonald's coffee. It's not the best, but I don't mind it. Like
Right.
if I'm going to drink a coffee for $1, I'd rather McDonald's than Tim Hortons. So
You say to your wife like, "Oh, I'm going to get a McDonald's coffee because I'm jonesing to get some of these Monopoly stickers."
she's more of an addict than I am. So
Really?
Oh yeah.
With sports gambling too, or just the
No,
McDonald's?
no,
game?
just the McDonald's stuff.
Oh.
Just the McDonald's stuff. In
Have
fact,
you ever had a McRib?
I've had a McRib. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like McRib. I don't think we have them here anymore, or they come back like once every few years or so. I just gotta not
they
look
came
at.
out yesterday.
I gotta not look at the meat before I eat it. That's the mistake. I just gotta
Yeah.
put it down.
Yeah.
Tastes good,
Yeah.
but
That's the
You want me to
best
send you
food.
some?
no, it's okay.
Okay.
I could use more Crowder powder though. Honestly,
Crowder.
yeah.
I got him, Hawk. I
Yeah.
told you.
All right.
Yeah. I went
hope you
to
do.
town on the Crowder powder. So
Real quick, because we're going to run out of time here. And by the way, Crowder Powder makes a great stocking stuffer. Go to crowderpowder.com. They have all kinds of new blends. Time of your life. Real quick, Detroit is a 3.5-point favorite over Green Bay tomorrow night.
I love the Packers tomorrow night.
Mm.
Love. So this just stems from the injuries for Detroit. If you go back to the beginning of the year and you look at week 1 Lions roster and you look at defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker, take the 15 best players. They have 3 available right now at this point of the season from what they started with at the beginning of the year. Everyone's dropping like flies. DJ Reader, who they brought over from Cincinnati's out tomorrow night. They lost Malcolm Rodriguez, who kind of was filling in for other people playing from that were out for injury as well. It's very, very bad and dire in the Detroit front 7. Green Bay can run the ball on them. They can pass the ball on them. I like Detroit when they're healthy, and I hate betting against the Lions because they have a great coaching staff. I'm not convinced that this line should be above 3 for tomorrow night. I played a lot of Packers in this game, both spread and money line. It's just really, really hard to overcome that many injuries in a defensive front 7 against a very good offense. And the Packers are starting to really move the ball on offense.
Did you bet the Packers laying the points against the Dolphins Thanksgiving?
No, I actually took some Dolphins in that game.
You did.
Yeah. I was fading the Tua and the Colts narrative. You know what? They kind of got on
looked good.
Tua was, I don't remember who fumbled muffed the punt early in that game, but it completely changed.
Malik
Washington, bum.
Completely changed the complexion of that game. It honestly did, because it immediately the Packers go up basically 2 touchdowns, and now it's just it's a different game. So I was on Miami. I'm making excuses for the loss, but yeah, I bet the Dolphins on Thanksgiving.
Real quick, because we're going so far over the clock here, but I love giving you lines that are gigantic. Eagles are 12-point favorites over the Carolina Panthers.
I got to tell you, the first time I saw this line, my immediate thought was, I got to bet Carolina here because the Panthers are getting better and better. And then as the week has gone on, I'm like, no. Like the Panthers can't stop the run. They've been run on all year long. Saquon's going to go for like 200 in this game. They can't stop them. They just don't have the defensive personnel to slow down this running game. I think a lot of people are fixated. Goddard's hurt, Devontae Smith's hurt. It's not going to matter. They're just going to run the ball at will. And the Eagles' defense is so good right now. Like Vic Fangio's defense is working there. It took a while to get going at the beginning of the year. These draft picks, Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, they're great cover corners. I kind of talk myself into the other side. I rarely do this, but I'm actually thinking about laying the points with the Eagles this week.
You never lay that many points.
I won't say never. But
it's out of character for you.
It is more out of character. I'm much more likely to have the underdog in this type of game. But I'm just talking myself into I don't think Carolina can really move the ball in this game, and I don't think they can stop the Eagles' run game. So, I have a pretty strong lean to the Eagles right now. I haven't bet it, but I probably will.
Glad to know the listeners are with me. Somebody texts in, I don't believe in math either. I won $27,000 on DraftKings last week. It's about your gut.
Listen, congrats on the win. Honestly, I'm not rooting against people, but yeah, I would say that you can win without an edge. That's like the beauty of sports betting. You can have big wins when you don't actually have an edge on something. There's one thing that, and I know we've gone way over time, but luck exists in sports betting. It's actually kind of the beauty of sports. But you have games like look at Atlanta and the Chargers last week. The Chargers had 170 yards of total offense, but they won the game because Kirk Cousins threw 4 interceptions on the other side of midfield. It happens. It's a lucky win. And, you can take away from that. You were great. I won my Chargers bet. From me, I just think to myself, it's great. I'm happy that I got the win, but I got lucky on that play. So congrats, by the way, on the 27K. I don't mean to be like a Debbie Downer here or anything like that, but I would say you want to try to take as much of the gut out of it as possible.
Yeah, but I think congrats on not believing math is officially official also, because it's time we stop believing everything they've been force feeding us all these years, Rob.
They should no longer teach it in school, right? Eliminate math altogether.
Listen, you got to get these.
What are you ever going to need math
before RFK takes over? You got to get these McRibs in, all right? Eat as many as you can. See you, Rob. Speaking of lucky, we are lucky to have you every week, and we appreciate it.
Thanks very much. I'll be back next week to answer Crowder's questions and not yours.
I mean, you have this guy snowed, Crowder. You have him snowed.
I'm an intellect.
He's so much smarter than what he lets on with you. I don't know what's at play here, because I know Rob's got a great BS detector because I have one. And I don't know how you have him fooled still after all these years.
Birds of a feather flock together. He knows intelligent dudes and innovative minds.
Yeah.
You couldn't come up with that on the spot. What was that? Birds of with a feather.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah. See, look, this is obviously high intelligence level here, Mark.
What? I mean, what have I walked into here? Unlikely allies. Rob Pizzola. Follow him on Twitter at Rob Pizzola. He likes the Miami Dolphins team total over. He likes Green Bay tomorrow night getting the points. And he likes the Eagles laying the points against the Panthers. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, guys. Good luck with your bets.